So we can use our paralyzing crystal now. You see, it's not even finished, it has a second part. So how much damage did we do? To do another attack. So that's some extra attack damage over there. We have a lot of movement speed as well with this build. Again, oh, she revived with 1 HP. Smack her to make sure she stays down. And then let's continue over here. Let's do a topple. Of course he didn't survive the topple. And we could also push him off the edge as we kill him. Hello guys and welcome. Today we're gonna be going through the monk, rogue, and maybe druid or barbarian build. So let's just have a quick overlook of the class so that you can see what we're talking about. So let's look at the spreadsheet. So there's 3 alternative options that I'm giving you this time. You could go for 6 levels of monk, 3 levels of rogue. Then you'd have to choose between 1 more level in monk or rogue. We'll cover the differences. And then 2 levels of druid for the spellcasting and the symbiotic entity, which is gonna give us a little bit more boost on our damage. Alternatively, you could go for a full monk, 8 levels and 4 levels of rogue. This will give you it will give you an evasion and an extra ability score increase, or 2 extra ability score increases according to how you build the character. And the final option is to go 6 levels of monk, 3 levels of rogue, and then 3 levels of barbarian to get the enraged throw and play around with it a little bit and get the rage and make yourself a little bit more tanky, since you're gonna be quite squishy, even though you're gonna be dealing a lot of damage. Let's quickly go through the build of how I want to build the class. Right now I'm on level 9, so we're gonna see level 9 footage, and I feel like it's pretty strong. So instead of starting out as a monk, you can start out as a rogue and get the extra skills and abilities. For stats, I would put most of my points in strength, 15 points in constitution, or 16 is up to you. I'd rather have 14 in constitution and have a higher wisdom, because that way I get to deal more damage. And then you could put 15 in constitution if you want to, or put 2 points in charisma. We're gonna be wearing the gloves of dexterity, so it's kind of irrelevant to put any points in dexterity right now. Athletics expertise, so that you can shove people and that you can prevent being shoved yourself. You don't really need acrobatics if you have athletics. Then you can go for sleight of hand expertise, because you're gonna be the rogue who's gonna be stealing. Your dexterity is high enough. This +3 over here is because it doesn't take into account that we're wearing the 18 dexterity gloves. So this would be +8. And then for the final 2, I would choose insight and perception, or investigation and perception, since this is gonna be a side character. You could play this as your main character, but you would have to focus more on the charisma side, because you're gonna be talking to people a lot. So let's go through the build. At level 6 you get 1 level rogue, 5 levels monk. Yeah, not much to think about there. There's a reason I'm doing Karlach, by the way. It's not by chance that I'm choosing her. She has a unique ability that works very well with this build. And then I would go for Monk of the Open Hand. Of the 4 elements, I feel like it's a little bit weak compared to spellcasting classes. And Way of Shadow is cool, but for this way of fighting, you want to go Way of the Open Hand. It gives you a lot of options with your Flurry of Blows, whereas the Way of the Shadow is a little bit more versatile in terms of what it can do outside of combat and in combat, but it combos with darkness and that sort of thing. So I would go with this one. Also, we get a very cool ability at level 6 with this subclass. For feats, okay, I will tell you my considerations. For this level, you will get Tavern Brawler and put a point in strength. However, if you other very good options are alert, which you can get later down the line. Don't get it now. Tavern Brawler is the bread and butter of our build, so if you don't pick Tavern Brawler, you're not gonna be as strong. Tav is good if you feel like you're getting melted quite fast by the enemy. Yeah. So luck is a good way to get advantage on your attacks reliably. Maxing out your strength is also an option. Sentinel is one that I really like. Sentinel is something that you can use to get a free reaction attack, but also at the same time you reduce the enemy's speed to 0 so they cannot run away from you. And you get advantage on opportunity attacks. Yeah, so yeah, we will go Tavern Brawler, but you have a lot of options. And you also want to be maxing your strength, because Tavern Brawler will add twice your strength modifier to your attack rolls and to your damage rolls, damage and attack rolls. So when you have +4 strength, instead of having your proficiency plus your strength modifier, you're going to have your proficiency plus your strength modifier and again plus your strength modifier. So essentially you have expertise on doing attack rolls and damage, which is very strong. It kind of breaks the game a little bit. It might get nerfed down the line, so play it now while it's playable. So at level 5 you're gonna get your extra attack and your stunning strike, which you can always use during combat. It's a good way to get advantage on your attacks. But we don't have a lot of key points, so you need to be a little bit conservative with it. Then at level 6 you get key empowered strikes, which is very cool, and that means that your weapons, your punches are actually going to be able to overcome resistance to non-magical damage. So you're not going to be nerfed against bosses that are actually hard to fight. Okay, so after you get your 6 levels in Monk, you will want to continue as a rogue. You see, evasion is a very cool ability. You might want to get this down the line. As you recall, on level 10, you will either have to get an ability score increase or evasion. So 4th level in rogue or 7th level in monk will give you evasion, which essentially, whenever you are doing a dexterity saving throw against a fireball, for example, or a dexterity-based AoE attack, area of effect attack, you have to do a dexterity saving throw. If what evasion does, instead of you getting half damage when you save and full damage when you fail, you get half damage when you fail and no damage when you save. Also, you get stillness of mind, which you automatically cast stillness of mind to remove the condition of being frightened or charmed, which is an amazing ability just by itself. It got buffed a lot by what it actually was in regular D&D rules. Then as a rogue, you want to go for the 5th subclass. You get that extra bonus action, and that's about 50 damage in one turn. Well, not 50, maybe up to 50, yeah. Oh, we landed a critical. So we can use our paralyzing crystal now. You see, that was one attack, and it was critical, and it dealt 23 bludgeoning, 11 fire and 11 radiant, and it's not even finished. It has a second part. So how much damage did we do? Let's look at the items first. So I wear the diadem of arcane synergy. So if you've seen my previous videos, you know what this does. It allows you to add your spellcasting ability modifier to your weapon attacks. So this will actually strengthen your cacophony attacks a lot. And I also combine your weapon attacks deal acid damage, and if you're concentrating 1 to 4 psychic damage. So these three work very well together if you're doing a lot of attacks. However, if you find some good punch buffing items, they would be better than these three, because your weapon actually doesn't do as much damage as your unarmed strikes. But when you combine all of this together, it does. For an amulet, you could get the Surgeon Subjugation Amulet, which is an amazing item to have, especially when you have advantage on your attacks. You'll be doing about 4 plus 6 attacks every turn. So if you have advantage, your expected critical per turn is 1. So you should be critting at least once every turn. So I know it sounds a little bit... I would definitely wear this if I had the choice. Then alternatively, you could go for Amulet of the Harpers, which will give you advantage on wisdom saving throws, and you will also get the reaction shield once per day to increase your armor class from 19 to 24. And then another alternative is the Amulet of Branding, which allows you to use a bonus action to make an enemy vulnerable to a certain type of physical damage, which is also strong. Now, for the rest of the build, I wear the Darkfire shortbow because it gives you some really cool resistances and the ability to cast haste. I wear a Cloak of Protection. The Mighty Cloth is a very cool item because it boosts your strength and it gives you +2 to your damage and to hit rolls. So whenever you're trying to punch now, we have a +10 from our strength plus our proficiency, so it's +14 whenever we're punching. So it's anything with 20 armor class, we need to roll a hit a 6 or higher, and if you have advantage, that comes down to 0.25 squared. So that would be about 10% only to miss, even less than that. Yeah, about 10%. So I also wear the Dexterity gloves, as we mentioned. It sets your Dexterity to 18, which helps you have a high armor class and to hit well with your staff. Otherwise, you would just be punching, to be honest. And punching is also a very good and reliable way of doing it. And I wear the evasive shoes for the armor class, the bonus armor class. Okay, so this is the build, guys. This is what I use. And let me show you why this is amazing. Oh, additionally, if you want to take that damage to the next level, potion, you can drink this potion right here, Elixir of the Colossus. Your weapon deals 1d4 damage and you get advantage on strength checks and saves. So now we're a little bit bigger than normally. And let's go to Moonrise Towers and beat up some guards. So the reason that we chose Karlach for this is that she has this item right here. She can basically, it's like a token machine which allows her to do a lot of damage. Not a lot, but it stacks up if you do 10 attacks. So you drink this. Now let's enter turn-based mode. So your weapon or an arm strikes deal an additional 1 to 4 fire damage. So as you can see, we have so many additions to our damage rolls right now. You get to choose Manifestation of Body, Mind, or Radiant between any attack at any time in your turn. That deals damage equals to, it deals a 1d4 plus your Wisdom modifier. So this damage should be getting out of hand. But let's look at our preparation round. So cast haste on ourselves. And to be honest, I like using Wholeness of Body in the preparation round as well. It takes an action, so you don't want to do it during combat unless you really need the healing or you run out of key points. And then you could also start laying at here right now. We have that many key points, but let's not lose 4 attacks from our main action. This guy has 18 armor class, so let's start with the big boy. You want to first topple your enemy so that you can get advantage on your attacks. Oh, we landed a critical. So we can use our paralyzing crystal now. You see, that was 1 attack and it was critical, and it dealt 23 bludgeoning, 11 fire and 11 radiant, and it's not even finished. It has a second part. So how much damage did we do? He had 91 and now he has 16 HP. Yeah, pretty chill. I would then use my weapon to do another attack. So that's some extra attack damage over there. We have a lot of movement speed as well with this build. Again, I should have started with toppling here. Oh, she revived with 1 HP. Okay, so how much damage did we do there? Another 70 from our from just 1 bonus action again. Smack her to make sure she stays down. And then let's continue over here. Let's do a topple. Of course, he didn't survive the turbo. Yeah, I didn't use another push. Well, do we have another attack? Yeah, and we could also push him off the edge as we kill him. So yeah, I don't know if you guys counted the damage, but it seemed like about 250 damage, and we wasted a big chunk of it. Now imagine if you were critting in all of those. He's slightly out of range. Oh, that's horrible. If only we could use bonus action dash. You might be considering action dash with this build, because your bonus actions deal so much more damage. But yeah, guys, this is how the build looks like, and it does crazy amounts of damage. And we didn't even poison our weapon. We didn't coat it in poison. But as you can see, like, the buffs are stacking. And the Fury lasts until long rest. Yep. Yeah, so this is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about it. I think this is pretty insane. Yeah, I'll be making even more videos using Monk in the next few days.